In this video, we're going to break down why businesses often feel more chaotic as they grow, even when revenue is increasing. This isn't about motivation. It's not about working harder, and it's not about having the wrong people. This is a business analysis problem, and once you understand what's actually happening structurally, the chaos starts to make sense. If your business is growing, but everything feels more chaotic instead of easier, that's not a motivation problem. It's a structure problem, and it shows up right around this stage. There's a phase of business growth that almost no one prepares you for. It isn't the startup struggle. It isn't the early survival phase. And it isn't the dramatic failure stories people like to talk about. It's the phase where things are technically working, but living inside the business feels worse than before. Revenue is increasing. Clients are coming in. The business looks healthy from the outside. If someone asks how things are going, the honest answer is usually something like, busy, but good. And that answer isn't wrong. But internally, the experience feels very different. Your calendar is packed. Your inbox never clears. People need answers from you constantly. Decisions stack up faster than they get resolved. You're working more, but it feels like you're accomplishing less. You're busier, but less certain. You're involved in everything, yet rarely focused. And at some point, a quiet question starts forming in your head. Why does this feel harder when it's supposed to feel easier? That question matters, because it isn't frustration, it's awareness. And it's usually the first sign that your business has outgrown the way it's being run. Most business owners misinterpret this stage. They assume chaos means something is broken. They assume they hired the wrong people. They aren't managing tightly enough. They're not disciplined enough. They need to push harder, so they respond the only way they know how. More effort, more meetings, more oversight, more involvement, more just checking on this. But effort doesn't fix structural problems. It temporarily masks them. Chaos during growth is rarely caused by laziness, incompetence, or poor leadership. It's caused by structure lagging behind scale. When a business is small, structure isn't critical. You can hold decisions in your head. You can make judgment calls informally. You can fix problems quickly without ripple effects. But growth changes the physics of the business. Revenue grows faster than clarity. Headcount grows faster than decision rules. Activity grows faster than visibility. And revenue is very good at hiding those gaps. Until one day, it isn't. Growth doesn't create chaos. Growth reveals what hasn't been built yet. This phase isn't just operational, it's psychological. Because on paper, you should feel successful. But internally, you feel stretched. You carry the business mentally even when you're not working. You struggle to disconnect. You feel like everything depends on you. You start asking yourself questions you didn't expect to ask. Why am I involved in this? Why does everything come back to me? Why can't I step away without things slowing down? That creates a quiet internal conflict. I built this business for freedom, so why do I feel more trapped? That conflict leads many founders to micromanage without realizing it, lose confidence in delegation, step back into roles they already outgrew, confuse control with leadership, not because they want power, but because the system isn't giving them any. When I analyze businesses in this phase, the chaos almost always comes from three structural gaps. Not bad people, not lack of effort, not complexity. 3. One decision ownership is undefined. As a business grows, decisions multiply, pricing exceptions, client edge cases, hiring trade-offs, delivery adjustments, policy gray areas. But many businesses never clearly answer one foundational question. Who owns which decisions, and under what conditions? So what happens? Decisions drift upward. Not because your team is incapable, but because escalation feels safer than guessing. People don't want to cross an invisible line. They don't want to be wrong. They don't want to break something. So they ask. And you answer. And slowly, without realizing it, every path leads back to you. You don't feel controlling. You feel necessary. But necessity isn't leadership, it's structural debt. And structural debt always feels like chaos. Intuition stops working, but visibility isn't replaced. In the early stages, intuition works. You talk to every client, you see every issue, you know what matters without dashboards or reports. But intuition doesn't scale. As the business grows, that internal feel fades quietly. And many founders never replace intuition with visibility. They don't clearly see what actually matters this week, where performance is drifting, what deserves attention versus what's noise. So instead of leading from clarity, they lead from interruption. Slack messages, emails, meetings, urgent requests. The business didn't become more chaotic. You lost signal. And when signal disappears, everything feels urgent. 3, there is no operating rhythm. Growth adds moving parts. More people, more work, more coordination, more dependency. But many businesses never build an operating rhythm to match that complexity. No consistent weekly review. No defined but decision cadence. No shared understanding of what gets reviewed, what gets decided, what gets ignored. So urgency fills the gap. Everything feels important. Everything feels immediate. Nothing ever fully resolves. Urgency is not momentum. Urgency is what happens when structure is missing. Structure is relieving. Urgency is exhausting. Here's the danger of staying in this phase too long. Chaos compounds. You stay involved temporarily. You make exceptions just this once. You keep stepping in to keep things moving. Over time, you trust the system less. You rely on yourself more. You stop getting leverage from growth. The business becomes dependent on you. Not because you planned it, but because structure never caught up. This is how profitable businesses accidentally trap their founders. Not through failure, through success without structure. Here's the reframe most founders miss. If you're experiencing this kind of chaos, it usually means one thing. Your business has outgrown its early-stage operating model. That's not failure, that's transition. This phase is the bridge between founder-driven execution and system-supported leadership. The discomfort is a signal. It's telling you the business is ready for a higher level of clarity. When people hear the word structure, they often imagine bureaucracy, more rules, more process, more meetings. That's not what effective structure is. Good structure does 3 simple things. It removes unnecessary decisions. It creates clarity about ownership. It gives the business a rhythm. Structure isn't about control. It's about relief. Relief from constant decision-making. Relief from noise. Relief from carrying everything mentally. When structure catches up to scale, something interesting happens. The noise drops. Decisions speed up. Your calendar opens. You stop carrying the business in your head. Not because you're doing more, but because the business is finally doing its share of the work. Leadership stops feeling reactive and starts feeling intentional again. If this way of breaking down business problems is useful for you, you'll find more videos like this on the channel. I focus on practical business analysis, why businesses feel the way they do as they grow, and where clarity usually breaks down. So if you want more clarity-focused breakdowns like this, you can subscribe to the channel and turn on notifications so you don't miss future videos. If your business feels chaotic during growth, don't assume you're failing. More often than not, you're just early, and structure hasn't caught up yet. Chaos at this stage doesn't mean you're doing it wrong. It means the business is asking for a higher level of leadership clarity. And that's not a problem. That's progress. That's the kind of analysis we do here. Thanks for watching.